Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tune on in before I start building on the topic for the day. Hopefully, everybody's having a smooth Sunday thus far. Got a quick build that I want to get off my chest today. So I'm going to give y'all a chance to tune on in, man, before I start diving into the motivation, the sermon for the day. Hopefully, y'all staying healthy, man, staying positive, peaceful, productive, powerful. All of that good stuff, man. Give y'all a chance to tap in. Montel, peace. What's going on with you, my brother? How you holding up on this wonderful Sunday? In Reaper 773, peace. What's going on with you, my brother? Magic Rims, what's going on with you, fam? How this wonderful Sunday treating y'all, man? We got some motivation for this Sunday, man. Get some things off my chest in regards to attitudes, man. A lot of us need to fix our attitudes toward life, toward ourselves, toward life outside of ourselves, man. We just got to fix the attitude up around here. D Monty, get that study in there, my brother. Travian, what's going on? Evan, Miami Soldier, peace. How y'all living? Dominique, what's going on with you, my brother? I'm going to check that DM. Ant Green, what's going on? Montel, man, everything is peaceful my way. Everything is good. Everything is good. Magic Rims, there you go. Listening to the nature sounds, man. That's the way to roll. That's the way to maintain that peace. Listening to that nature. Staying in tune with nature. So we're going to be building today on attitudes, man. We talking about attitudes. In Reaper, exactly. We about to build on it. We building about attitude. When you look at, before you start building on the word, man, you gotta reach the definition. You got to build on a definition of what the word actually means. Now, if you look up the word attitude, then we come across few definitions. One definition for the word attitude, we got a settled way of thinking or feeling about someone or something, typically one that is reflected in a person's behavior. Then we have another definition. It says a position of the body proper to or implying an action or mental state. And some words that are synonymous with attitude: point of view, viewpoint, vantage point, frame of mind. That's one thing that I like to focus on. Frame of mind, school of thought, outlook, angle, slant, perspective, which is another word that I'm going to focus on in regards to the synonyms related to attitude. So we got frame of mind, perspective, reaction, stance, standpoint, position. It's another word that's important. So position, perspective, frame of mind. Now we seeing why attitude is important. It's the frame of mind. It's the outlook. It's the perspective, position that you have in regards to not only yourself, but life outside of self. Carrie, what's going on? What's going on? So attitude is very important. When I break down attitude, my own words, I look at your attitude as basically being a perception of oneself or a perception of things outside of self. So it's that perception, it's that frame of mind, it's that outlook. It's how you perceive something. It's how you perceive yourself. It's how you perceive an event that happens. It's how you perceive other people, your attitude towards other people, your attitude towards an event, your attitude towards yourself. So attitude is very important. And a lot of us, we have poor attitudes. We have poor attitudes, whether it be attitudes towards ourselves, attitudes towards others, attitude towards events, surroundings, environments, whatever the case may be. A lot of us possess poor attitudes. A lot of us possess poor attitudes, and we wonder why life doesn't turn out the way that we want it to, the way that we think it should, because our attitudes are poor. Poor attitudes, destructive attitudes. What is that going to manifest? Destructive and poor reality. You have a poor attitude and a destructive attitude, then you should not be surprised in regards to why your life reflects destruction, reflects poverty. It's a reflection of your attitude, a reflection of your outlook towards yourself and life. So you must fix your attitude. You must shift the attitude, what they call an attitude adjustment. That is serious. That is necessary. That is a requirement. It is something that you must do. It's a formula. It's a formula in regards to being able to elevate, in regards to being able to succeed in life. You must have that attitude adjustment. Maze, what's going on? So we must have attitude adjustments. And again, a lot of us have been through things in life. So a lot of times we try to justify certain attitudes via upbringings and things of that nature. Well, guess what? Guess what? It's always somebody that wishes they had some of the problems that you have went through in your life and some of the problems that you are currently facing. So it's always somebody that's struggling a lot harder than you. So we need to focus on gratitude first. A lot of times, a lot of us wake up, and as soon as we hop out of the bed, we looking for things to have an attitude about, negative attitude about. So we already looking for things to complain about. We already looking for things to complain about once we get up, start our day. We so wired and programmed to look for things to complain about instead of just being grateful that you are up this morning. That circadian rhythm is operating and functioning properly. Instead, we go right to things to complain about. Alonzo, peace, what's going on? Instead, we hop out the bed ready to complain, focusing on the worst part of the day before it even happens yet, and then wonder why the day is a reflection of that. Wonder why you didn't had a bad day when as soon as you hopped out of the bed, you was focused on the bad things that didn't even transpire yet. And wonder why your day turns out rough and bad, full of obstacles, full of problems, because that's what you was focused on as soon as you hopped out of the bed, looking for things to complain about, looking for things to be upset and angry about. Oh, Dominique, no doubt. No doubt. That's what we doing. That's why we doing it on this Sunday. That's why we doing it on this Sunday. But as soon as you hop out of the bed, man, you should be looking for things to be grateful for. You should be settling on the best part of the day. Realms, exactly. Yeah, the like energy attracts the energy. Exactly. Exactly. But it's like I said, we've been wired and programmed. So as soon as we hop up, go right to the negativity, right to something to complain about. And when you start off your day like that, then that's how you're going to maneuver throughout the entire day. You're going to be looking for things to complain about. Go be looking for things to complain about, whatever you do that day, because in the morning, whenever you wake up to start your day, that sets the tone. That first 30 minutes, that first hour of the day, it sets the tone for the rest of the day. So when that first 30 minutes, that first hour, you spend it complaining, looking for the negatives, settling on the worst part, then the rest of the day is going to be a reflection of that. So every time something happens to you, guess what? You're going to be looking for something to complain about. You're going to be focusing on the negative. That's what you're going to do throughout the whole entire day, because that's the way you set the tone that morning. Shakir, what's going on? Alonzo, exactly. Exactly. And people don't understand that when I say setting that tone for the day, you cannot wake up in the morning instantly upset. Matter of fact, you don't even want to go to sleep with that negativity on the mind. You don't want to go to sleep with that negativity on the mind, because more than likely you're going to wake up with that same negativity on the mind. So you must clear that mind before you lay it down, so you can wake up with that clear mind, that positive mind, that neutral mind, that balanced mind. But it's no reason for us to be having the hostile attitudes that we tend to have, especially towards one another. Man, I can't tell you how many times I encounter people who just have attitudes with people for no apparent reason. You could be being generous to a person and they gonna hit you with the nastiest attitude for no apparent reason whatsoever. That's uncalled for. We need to stop living our lives like that, man. It's not even that serious. It's not that deep to be having nasty attitudes with any and everybody that you come in contact with, and then think that that's like a badge of honor, something to brag about. Yeah, I know my attitude, this, that, and the third. Well, do something about it. See, I'm tired of us being adults, being older, getting older, and we acknowledge a lot of our faults and flaws, but yet we doing nothing about it. We doing absolutely nothing about it. So you got enough wisdom to say, yeah, I know I got a bad attitude, but you don't have enough wisdom to do anything about it. So you acknowledging your problem, but you're not doing anything about it to fix it. At some point, we're going to have to hold you accountable. At some point, we're going to have to hold you accountable because you acknowledging the issue. You acknowledging the fact that you may have the bad attitude. Not may have it, but you acknowledging the reality that you have a bad attitude. Do something about it. Do something about it. We got to stop forcing people to deal with the nasty part of ourselves. Lindell, Swag, Peace, what's going on with y'all? We got to stop forcing that on other people. And that's what we tend to do, man. Do something about it. Strive to fix that. Strive to shift it or something. Don't just be like, I got this and you must accept it when it's causing trouble. When it's causing trouble. All right, Carrie. Carrie comes with a good question. Fact. So can someone's attitude be tested? For example, trying to find out if someone has a positive attitude towards a job or help you want to give them. For the most part, you just got to learn to really read people, because a lot of people try to mask their true feelings. But at the end of the day, when you learn to read people by observing, then you are able to see right through the mask, the disguise. You're able to see right through it. So sometimes, man, you just gotta chop it up with a person, and within like a minute or so, you'll be able to determine the attitude of that person. So you just got to chop it up with people, man. You just got to chop it up with them for a few minutes. And then from there, you'll be able to determine the true attitude of that individual. It's not hard to determine who has the poor attitude and who has the great attitude by having a conversation with said individual. So that's the test. That's how you test the attitude. Have a conversation with them. Just a casual conversation, and you will be able to determine the bad attitude off the rip. Because 9 times out of 10, the person that possesses the bad attitude, you can tell because they won't be as willing to share information in the conversation. So the conversation won't go as fluently, as smoothly as the person that has the positive attitude or the good attitude. So you'll be able to determine that just based off of the conversation, the flow of the conversation. I mean, I pick up on that quickly, man. I know right off the bat whether or not somebody is really feeling what it is, like whatever it is. I know off the rip. I know right off the rip whether or not this person has a good attitude or a bad attitude. A lot of times it's real easy to determine the people with the bad attitudes, man. It's just written on their face. It's written on the face. But we're not even going to take it on face value. We're going to go a step further. While you may look at the face and say, this person looks like such and such, we ain't going to stop there, though. We're going to have that conversation. Going to have that conversation. And from that conversation, you're going to get all the intel that you need in regard to being able to determine the attitude of said person. Dominique, no doubt. You always want to be careful about what you think. And just be careful about just how you move, man. Just your ways and actions. Just careful about all of that, man. Just be careful with all of that. Your thoughts, your ways and actions, what you write out, everything, man. Just everything, all of that. Be mindful. Be mindful. Be mindful of all of that. And you just got to be mindful of the impact that you having on others, man. You got to be mindful of the impact that you have on others when it comes to interactions, when it comes to exchanges, man. You never know. You never know the quality of the person that you are interacting with. You never know. You never know, man. You never know. That person may be on their last straw. And the simple fact that you came at them with an attitude, that may be enough for them to just snap. That was the final straw right there. You came to them with that bad attitude and they was already on the last straw. You never know. And on the flip side, that person may have been on their last straw and you came with some positive information or some motivation. And they come off that ledge. They was finna jump, but they had that exchange with you and they reconsidered it. They reconsidered it. So you just never know, man. You never know the quality the mental quality of the person that you have in an exchange with. So you should always be mindful of that. That's why I always strive to have positive interactions, man. Because you never know what people are going through, man. Because like I said, a lot of people are masking the true feelings. So you never know what people are truly going through. You never know. So you always want to be mindful of that, man. You always want to be mindful of that when having discussions, when having dialogues, interactions, exchanges. Always be mindful. That little small dose of motivation that you spoken to that person could have been enough to save their life. And that small dose of negativity could be enough to cause them to explode. And you may be a victim of that. All because you didn't want to clean up your attitude and you mad for no reason, basically. Because you woke up and you got a job when it's people out here that are jobless. Like, you mad because of that. This person may have just lost their child or something, and you over here mad because you going to work getting paid, and they done lost the whole child. You mad because of that, and they on their last straw. You over here complaining and mad about you have a job. You just don't like the job. Whole while they done lost the child and can't get the child back. Little stuff like that. Michelle, peace. What's going on with you, Queen? It's little stuff like that, man. We always want to be mindful of. We always want to be mindful of, man. You just never know, man. So I always strive to just keep the attitude right, just keep the attitude positive, keep the attitude powerful. Because I know how I go, man. I know how I go. When we dealing with the public, man, a lot of us try to mask that true reality, try to mask them true feelings. We don't want people to see us down bad out here. So we put that mask on. But deep down, we hurting. And at any given moment, somebody can say something that just triggered that explosion. So again, that's why we always got to be real mindful, man. Real mindful. Be cautious when you're dealing with other people. Be cautious when you're speaking with other people. This is very important. Magic rims, exactly. And again, that stems from us being selfish. That stems from us being selfish by nature, man. That's what, for real, that stems from us being real selfish. And we need to let that go. That ego, pride, all of that. We need to let that go, man, when we're dealing with other people. At the end of the day, we got to let it go, man. We should be having just positive exchanges, man. Why do you have an attitude with a person that didn't do anything to you? Why do you have an attitude with a person that only says something nice to you? Why are you having an attitude with said individual? It's not that deep. It's not that serious. Having that attitude is stressing you out. And that stress, as we have talked about, shrinks your thymus gland. So when that stress shrinks the thymus gland, that is killing your ability to fight off cancer. So that is making you sick, literally. Every time you choose to have that negative or that bad attitude, you are killing your body's ability to fight off cancer cells. So it's literally making you sick to possess a bad attitude repeatedly. That is literally killing you. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to be upset day in and day out about small things that you can easily do something about? Is it really that serious? The answer to that is no. The answer to that is no. If you don't like what somebody said, okay, cool. Acknowledge it, move on. You don't have to continue to harp on the situation. You don't have to continue to focus on the negative that somebody said. A lot of times we don't know how to let things go. Somebody said something to you yesterday that was negative. You still thinking about it today. You still thinking about it right now. It's still bothering you. Let it go. You letting that person have control over you. That person now has power over you because you ain't learned how to let it go, man. Just let it go. That happened yesterday. It was something that somebody said you didn't like. Okay, boom. You passed that right now. It's a new day. Why are you still focusing on it? Why are you still focusing on it? PT, what's going on? Dominique, exactly. It's a lot of studies out here that's letting you know that attitude is impacting your health. Calvin Cambridge. It depends on the situation with that. If it's a coworker, then it's just plenty of ways you can go about that conversation. I know I done been there, done that. I learned how to just tune people out. And that's willpower. At the end of the day, if it's a situation where you feel like where you may be forced to be around a person that won't be quiet, then it's just you either politely ask them to stop talking about what it is that they're talking about, or you tune them out. And that's what I learned to do. I done been in that situation plenty of times. You know, and I'm gonna give you a prime example because women do it good when they have children. You know how they able to tune the children out. You just got to do that to adults, man. If they talking about things that you don't necessarily care about and it's negative, tune them out just like they tune out the children. That's how we do that. That's how we do that. If you in a situation where you forced to be around somebody that will not be quiet, that's talking about something that's toxic and negative, learn to tune them out. We just got to tune them out because you got to prioritize your sanity. You got to prioritize your mental health. You have got to do it. So you just got to learn to tune them out. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. Matter of fact, that determines a lot of the work that I get into, man. If the environment is toxic, if the environment is not to my liking, then I'm going to just strive to get out the environment. I Am Legend, man. Appreciate you. Tierra, peace. What's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. We can't let these people have power over us. And that's what tends to happen. That's when we become a product of our environment instead of producing the environment that we would like to see. So we got to rise above that. We got to rise above that and create our environment, that mental environment. We don't have to become a product of their gossip, a product of their negativity, a product of their depression, anger, frustration. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We have a choice in that regard. We can choose to entertain it or we can choose not to entertain it. That's a choice that we have. The moment that you choose to entertain it, then they're going to bring you down to that level. Redbird, what's going on with you? They're going to bring you down to that level. And that's what they striving for. That's what they striving for, to bring you down to that level. And you have the choice as to whether or not you're going to go down to that level. I'm not choosing to go down to that level. Like I said, it's a lot to be grateful for. I don't have time to be gossiping about things that don't concern me. I don't have time to be negative and frustrated about things that I can simply change. Magic Realm, and that's all they striving to do. They striving to get under your skin, especially when they see that you about peace, especially when they see that you are unbothered. They gonna work hard to bother you and disturb your peace and knock you off balance. That's what they gonna strive to do. That's what they striving to do. That's their main objective. So once they knock you off balance, mission accomplished. They are now fulfilled and satisfied. And now you are disturbed. And now they laughing at you. So that's why we can't give them that power. That's why you cannot give a person with that negative attitude, that bad attitude, that power. You got to demonstrate. You got to overrule that. You must do it. You must do it. Cynthia for wisdom. Peace. Queen, what's going on with you? Appreciate you tapping in. 30 below. What's going on? So we got to stop giving people that power, man. We have choices, man, and we got to really start holding ourselves accountable. Like I said, man, I made a status on Facebook. I understand, and I'm a paraphrase the status, but it went something along the lines of, I understand that age is nothing but a number, and age doesn't necessarily, like, as we get older, that don't necessarily mean one is going to become wiser. But I said at some point, when we reach a certain age, when we reach a certain number, we have to start acting like we have been on this planet for a minute. And that's the status that I made on Facebook. At some point, we got to start acting like we've been here for a minute. At some point, we can't use the young and dumb excuse anymore. At some point, man, we got to start acting like we done been around the block a few times. And that's just a fact. That is just an actual fact, man. At some point, we got to really start being accountable for our ways and actions and stop blaming any and everybody for our poor attitudes. At some point, man, you must realize that, man. At some point, you must realize, man, I done been on this planet 30 plus years. That's a long time. I need to act like I've been on this planet for 30 plus years. That's a very long time. Denise, what's going on? And Carrie Adongo, another good question. Much appreciated. But tuning the negative people out can cause stigma in the workplace, especially those in authority. What could be the next step in such a case? Carrie, I'm going to give you another one. What I used to do again, I would neutralize it. I always neutralize the negativity with the positivity. At the end of the day, if somebody is getting mad at you for choosing to be righteous and positive, then that's a problem that they got to deal with internally. So if you can't really tune them out, you must neutralize it. Every time they talk about something that's negative, you counter it with something that's positive. At the end of the day, you're gonna have more power. That positivity is going to wipe them out eventually when you stay persistent with countering the negativity. It's going to drain them. So just like they relentless with the negativity and the toxicity, you got to be relentless with the positivity. That's what you got to do. You got to counter it again. Again, we talk about fighting for relationships and things of that nature. How hard are you willing to fight for your peace and your sanity? How hard are you willing to fight for your mental health? So if you got somebody that's going hard with the negativity, you got to go hard with the positivity. You got to counter it. If it's disturbing you, how hard are you willing to fight for that sanity, for that mental peace? You got to fight for it. You got to fight for it. It's a time for war. They say it's a time for war. It's a time for peace, man. So if you got somebody that you really can't tune out, then circumstances are telling you that it's a time for war. So now you got to go to war with them. You got to continue to neutralize that negativity with positivity. And that's what you must do. That's what you must do. I've been there, done that. When somebody's saying something that's negative, I always counter it. Let them know that it could be a lot worse. Whatever it is that they complaining about, I always counter with the other side. With the other side. That's how you got to do it. And then at some point, some of these people eventually start to realize that they just complaining a lot. And they can change their circumstances. So you just got to counter it. You got to counter it. How hard are you willing to fight for that sanity? I'm willing to fight hard for that sanity. Matter of fact, I ain't going to let nobody disturb my peace, man. I'm finna go hard for my peace. I'm finna go hard for my mental health. If you coming in trying to disturb it, you're going to have a problem. I'm not about to just let you easily dictate the flow of my energy. Not finna let you easily dictate that. When you mad, I'm mad. I ain't gonna go out that easily. You mad, I'm still positive. You frustrated, I'm still positive. I ain't finna go out like that. So how hard are you willing to fight for that mental peace? How hard are you willing to fight for that sanity? How hard are you willing to fight to be centered? You got to fight for it, man. You got to fight for it, especially in this day and time. Because again, negativity, toxicity, it has all of the momentum in the world. So everywhere that you go, guess what? You're going to be surrounded by toxic and negative people. You do not want to be a part of that circle, a part of that cipher. So at the end of the day, guess what? You're going to be the odd one out. So you're going to have to do a lot of fight. You're going to have to do a lot of self-defense. People talk about self-defense in the physical form. Well, we got to practice self-defense mentally. So you got to defend your peace mentally. You got to do that. Got to do that. New vision. What's going on? Redbird, and that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Unnecessary attitudes, man. Unnecessary attitudes. Unnecessary attitudes, man. We got to really kill the unnecessary bad attitudes, the unnecessary negative attitudes, man. Again, people tell you life is short. Well, to me, life is really long, but at the end of the day, life is precious. Life is valuable. Life is precious. Life is valuable. You're not guaranteed the next hour. So you really need to learn to embrace life. Embrace life. Life is too precious, too valuable for you to be walking around with a negative, a bad attitude for the majority of your day. Life is too precious for that. Life is too valuable for that. So that's very unnecessary, man. Stop wasting your time being angry, frustrated, upset, negative. Stop it. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of valuable energy. That same energy that you spend walking around with this bad attitude, hating everything and everybody in life, is the same energy that you could be utilizing to change your position, to change your circumstance, to shift your reality. That's the same energy. You could be using that same energy to get up out your current situation that you complaining about. But you spending all that energy complaining, being angry, being frustrated. Yo, soul, what's going on with you? Magic rims, and that's what it is. The energy shield, that mental energy shield. You must Create that energy, that mental energy shield. You must do it. You must block off that negative energy. And sometimes to block off that negative energy, you got to fight. You got to fight. You got to defend oneself. Lindell, and that's another thing that a lot of people that are positive, a lot of people that are positive, a lot of people that strive to be positive, they face exactly what you said. We let a lot of things slide. See, that's one thing that we got to stop doing. See, we got to start being warriors, soldiers when it comes to this positivity. See, when it comes to the positivity and people striving to be righteous and positive, one thing that they have encouraged us to do is let a lot of things slide. Don't address issues. Nah, we got to start addressing these issues. We got to start addressing these issues. We got to be, listen, as crazy as it may sound, we got to be aggressive with the positivity. We got to be aggressive with that positivity. We got to let people know, like, this ain't going to fly. You ain't finna come around me with this negativity, with this toxicity. You're not finna come around me with that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So we got to get aggressive with that positivity. We got to get aggressive with it. Assertive, whatever word you would like to use. But that's how we got to start dishing out that energy. Got to stop letting things slide. Got to stop letting them slide, because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're really suppressing feelings and emotions. No, let that negative person know that, hey, you throwing me off with this negativity. Let them know out the gate. Like, man, you need to clean that attitude up, man. This ain't gonna fly. Sitting around complaining and crying about your circumstance ain't gonna change nothing. Let them know. Give them that reality check. And they can choose to cash it if they would like, but give them that reality check out the gate, because you must protect your peace. You must protect your sanity. But in order to do that, you got to let people know where you stand. You got to let these people know where you stand, man. This is a no negativity zone. Like they got the no fly zone. This is a no negativity zone. When you get around me, that negativity is dead. We not rocking with the negativity. We not rocking with the bad attitudes. We not doing that. We not allowing that within this cipher. We just not doing it. Not doing it. Magic rims, exactly. I tell people all the time, life is not short. I tell people that all the time. Life is not short at all. Life is not short at all. Like, listen, even when somebody that's 20 years old and passed, 20 years, man, that's a long time. 20 years a long time, man. Life isn't short at all. All I can tell you, though, is life is precious. Life is valuable. That's all I can tell you. Whether it's short or long, I can't really comment on that. Because sometimes, man, I train people. I have them do stuff for 45 seconds, and that seems like a long time to them. That seems like a long time to them. But if I was giving them something that they would enjoy, 45 seconds would be too short of time. So that's just really all subjective and relative. So life is not long or short. Life just is. I can tell you one thing, though, that is valuable and it's precious. And we need to look at it as such and stop wasting our time being angry and frustrated. And it's definitely not guaranteed to you. Anything can happen. Anything. And that's a fact. So stop taking things for granted, man. You going to sleep angry with people, and then next thing you know, you done woke up and now that person has returned to the essence, as we call it. Now what? Now what you got for it? Now you finna just be feeling guilty. Now you finna just be feeling bad. Shouldn't have went to sleep, man, with that hostility on the mind, with that hostility on the heart, as they say. Cluster price. You say, what about when you got a woman provoking you? Now, it depends on the situation. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tell you to walk away from said situation. As a man, you definitely, when you got a woman provoking you, as a man, it is best for you to just walk away from the said situation. It's best for you to walk away. Best for you to walk away, depending on the circumstance, man. It's best for you to walk away. If you got a woman provoking you, walk away. Exit the premises, man. Leave the vicinity. You do not want to be around that, maybe, because again, we all got buttons. We all got limits, I should say. So you do not want to be around. You do not want to allow her to reach that limit as a man. And then you mess around and black out, or you react. You don't want it to lead to that. You don't want it to get to that. So just walk away. Walk away. Walk away. When you see that she has ill intentions in regards to provoking you, walk away, exit. Don't entertain it. Aim or fix. What's going on with you? Denise, you say during Little League football season, I was surprised at the adult women willingness to keep up the BS. I had to put out a few fires. I'm like, that's not what we're here for. Listen, Denise, I've seen it all, and that doesn't even surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. Like, we be in our 30s and 40s, and we be still operating like we in middle school, 30s, 40s, 50s, and we operating like we in middle school. Like, come on, like I said, at some point we gotta realize that we done been here for a minute. We got to realize we've been here for a minute. That's why I stopped criticizing the youth, because I see where the youth get it from. So I'm done criticizing the younger generation because I see where they get it from. The parents out here acting just as childish, just as terrible as the kids that they are criticizing and claim they don't understand. So I have stopped criticizing the youth. I have stopped saying I don't understand the younger generation. No, I understand it fully because I'm seeing the parents. I'm seeing how they act. Apple don't fall too far from the tree. That's what they tell you. So this younger generation didn't just magically start acting the way that they are acting. No, no, that came from somewhere. That came from the adults that's raising them. BJ Elmo, what's going on? Well, I have stopped criticizing the youth. That's dead. Don't do that anymore because I understand where it's coming from. I understand where it's coming from, man. I understand wholeheartedly where it's coming from in regards to the youth. So I don't have to criticize them anymore. It is coming strictly from the parents that's raising them. Man, y'all can even look online. I be forgetting because I don't really keep up with a lot of these rappers like that, man. But some of these rappers that then got shot and killed recently, man, they moms all on social media acting crazy, still promoting the beef and all of that, man. The moms. So I'm like, okay, now I see where this is coming from. So the moms out here wilding out on social media. Your sons then got killed, shot and killed, and now you carrying on the beef. I'm like, okay, so this is where all this comes from. Now it makes sense. Aim or fix. What you mean you don't know how to change your reality for good? It starts with changing your thinking, changing your mentality, changing your mentality. That's where it starts. You may have tried to skip, like I say, we try to skip the one, go right to the two. So you probably didn't skip the one and went right to the two, which is the motion, the ways and actions. No, you got to start at the foundation. You got to start at the one. That's the mentality. That's the thoughts. It's the words, the way you view yourself, the way you view life outside of you. So you got to start there. You got to start there. So that's probably what's happening to you. It's almost like, because again, y'all know I'm in the fitness space. So it's almost like the person that ain't reaching that fitness goal. Because one of the things that's happening when you're not reaching that fitness goal is because, again, you have skipped the one. You have skipped the mental part, the mental fitness. You have skipped that and you done went right into the diets, right into the exercising. Well, you done skipped the mental portion of it. So you wondering why you can't stick to a diet. You wonder why you can't change your eating habits because you have not changed your mentality first. And you went right to the diets, right to the gym. You got to get your mind right first. You got to get your mind right before you start trying to change your eating habits. You got to get your mind right first before you dedicate all this time to an exercise regimen. You got to get your mind right first. But again, we be too eager. We be in a rush. We be in a hurry. Got to slow down. It's another thing, man. Practice patience. Slow down. Slow your roll. Sometimes that's what you need to do. You just need to slow down. Slow it down. Redbird, man. Happy belated born day. Redbird, I know I didn't officially reach OG status, man, but it is what it is. OG status, OG wisdom, as we call it. Dominique, man, all the time, man. I always point out it could be way worse, man. Like I said, there's some people right now today that they had children and the children didn't wake up this morning. And I just leave it at that. It's people right now in other countries, man, where they got kids, and these kids are suffering from diseases they was born with. So a kid that came into this world born with a deadly disease, man. They didn't actually even be here, and now they gotta suffer. They gotta suffer with a deadly disease, and you complaining about a job you got? Try being that kid that didn't ask to come into this world, and now they got a deadly disease that's causing them to suffer. They didn't ask for that. They didn't ask to be here, but they was brought into this world. Now they got a deadly disease straight out of the womb, and they got to suffer with that. But you complaining about, again, a job. You complaining about how somebody looking at you. Come on now. Come on now. Put it in perspective. Put it in perspective. Tierra, yeah, exactly. You always walk away. And this is for male and female, man. If for the women, if you got a male provoking you, walk away. Same thing, man. Just walk away. If somebody is provoking you, man, walk away from the situation. A lot of people look at walking away as something being soft. It takes a lot of strength to walk away. It takes a lot of strength to walk away. Matter of fact, it's soft when you allow that person to get you to respond and react in that negative manner. That's a weakness, but it takes a lot of strength to say, okay, man, I'm just gonna walk away. I'm just gonna exit. I'm not gonna allow this to escalate. I'm gonna walk away. That's strength. That's power. You have power over that situation when you exit and walk away, because that person, they provoking you to get a response. When they don't get the response, now you have killed their mission. So now they confused. They don't understand what's going on. They thought that they can push your buttons, and they thought that pushing the buttons would get a certain response, and it didn't. So you have killed their mission. You have killed their objective. So now you hurting them. So just walk away. Magic rims. Always be grateful. Always. Again, not promise. 30 minutes from now, not promise. Anything can happen, man. So be thankful. Be grateful that you're here right now. Be grateful that you're able to be on YouTube in this stream. Be grateful that you're able to type out comments. There's somebody that can't see the comments. It's somebody here that can't type. It's somebody out here missing fingers, missing hands, missing arms. So be thankful that you can do everything that you can do right now. Be thankful. Be thankful. Be grateful. MCJ Rocker, always, man, just go for a ride. Can't go for the ride, go for the walk. Man, or just sit outside. Whatever it is you got to do. Whatever it is you got to do. I know how I go, man. Some people are just evil. Some people are just evil. And I talked about that on Facebook. I said, man, we always talk about mental health, depression, and things of that nature. We always want to cling to mental health. Well, some people are just evil. Like, some people are just evil, and they just out to cause havoc. Like, some people are just out to cause havoc. Some people are just evil. That's what some people just are. So we can say, oh, they have mental issues. Nah, some people are just evil, yo. Some people just get a thrill out of making other people upset. Some people just evil. Some people just evil. And if it happens too frequently, then you must reevaluate the relationship, man, because you don't want to be in a position like that consistently as a man, no doubt. Red Bird, and Red Bird, I understand. I understand, Red Bird. I understand 100%. I understand 100%. And then it's normal too, man, for a situation to make you upset slightly, man. But it's about how quick you bounce back from it. So it's gonna be things that happen to you that's unfavorable that you may not like. That's normal and natural to be, all right, man, that just upset me for a moment, man. But bounce back quickly. Bounce back. Bounce back. Bounce back from it. What you say, Tierra? I say it all the time. Grown people ain't grown no more. There's a major lack of guidance and role models. The older crew is acting just like the younger crew. Exactly. Or should we say the younger crew is acting just like the older crew? Because that's what's happening. We got songs out here like she get it from her mama, things of that nature. Like, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So I look at it and people get mad at me because I done had conversations. People get mad at me when they start talking about their kids or when they start talking about the younger generation. And I look at them and I say, okay, so how were you when you came up? And they start talking about, man, I was way worse, or I was doing the same things that such and such was doing. I said, so see, okay. And you was doing this stuff right in front of the kid and they witnessed it. They witnessed what you was doing. They witnessed what you was doing. You was passing that down. You passing those habits down. That's what you doing. So why are you surprised? Why are you surprised? You was out here acting like a savage. You was out here acting like a beast, and the child witnessed it. Now you surprised when they embody that. Why? Why? You didn't make any attempt to clean up your life, and now you mad that your child is a reflection of that. Make that make sense, man. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. You don't understand the first role models of that child, the parents, man. That child, whether they gonna admit it or not, whether they even know it or not, that child is looking up to the parents, man. That child is looking up to the parents, especially when the parents are in the life of that child. They looking up. That's the first role model. They want to look up to mama. They want to look up to daddy. That's the first role model of the child. But when they see mama out here doing certain things, they gonna look at that. They gonna look at that. They gonna look at what mama is doing. They gonna think some of that stuff is right. They gonna think that some of that stuff is supposed to be done. They gonna look at what daddy is doing. They gonna think that some of this stuff is supposed to be done. Some of this stuff is right and exact. No matter if you are telling them that you shouldn't do as I do, but do as I say. No, they looking at what you do. They may not even understand what you say, but guess what? They understand what you do. That's one thing that you must realize when it comes to the kids, man. They definitely understand what you do. They seeing what you do. They may not necessarily understand what you are saying, though, but they understand what you're doing. Oh, Dominique, no doubt, man. Like I said, the adults, the older generation, we got to get it together, man, because we in that boat. We in that same boat. We the adults. We the OGs. We got to get it together. We got to get it together, man. Society is a reflection of like the way we done brought up the children. It's a reflection of that. So we got to do better. Hey, first of all, Denise, now that's big. And you know what's crazy, Denise, that you say you took the advice on dealing with the 14-year-old son. You know what's crazy? When I worked in banking, like before I even set out to do any of this, I had a few mothers, single mothers, man, asked me to deal with their sons, man. Like their sons was around 14 to like 18. And they was just like, man, they couldn't get a grip on their son, man. And they just saw the way that I carried myself and they asked what I taught to the son for them. So I be seeing a lot of issues with the young men out here. And accountability is a big issue with it. Big issue with them. Big issue with them. Big issue with them. Accountability is big, man. They got accountability is big. Accountability is big. So we always got to be stressing the message of accountability when it comes to the youth. We got to make them own up to everything that they do. And that's on a positive and negative end. When they do something positive, you got to make them give themselves credit for that. You passed this test. Guess what? You put in the work to pass that test. All right, you failed that test. Guess what? Why did you fail that test? Because you failed to properly prepare for the test. So you failed. Hold yourself accountable for the good and the bad. See, a lot of times when it comes to accountability, the reason why we tend to fail with accountability is because we look at accountability and we only look at the negatives of it. We only look at people failing to be accountable for the negatives in life. No, we got to be accountable for the negatives and the positives in life. So you got to make them be accountable for the good things that they have done. So when they start doing that, then you're going to see them take accountability for everything. So start making them be accountable for some of the good that he does. That's accountability as well. When we focus on accountability, we focus on not owning up to the bad things that we do. No, make them own up to everything that they do, whether it be good or bad. Just everything that they do, just own up to it. Be accountable for everything. Very good. Here we go. Although all dreams are valid, can being negative be a positive attitude? For instance, refusing to do dangerous stunts with friends who want to trend on social media and educate them on the dangers. See, Carrie, what you just mentioned, I don't view anything negative about that. I don't view anything negative about that. Again, negative and positive is relative to the person. So the only people who will view that as negative are the friends. But at the end of the day, you viewing that as a positive because you protecting your peace, you protecting your sanity. You like, I'm not doing that. It's too dangerous. You looking out for yourself. self-preservation. So negative and positive, that's relative to the person. That's relative to the person. So when it's a situation like that and you don't feel comfortable, you can express that with the friends, or you could just say, look, I'm good. I ain't rocking with it because I don't feel comfortable. And if they don't accept that, that's on them. But at the end of the day, you preserving self. You looking out for self. You protecting self. So that's not even necessarily a negative being a positive. That's just a positive because you looking out for self. I'm unique, no doubt about it. It's a fact that a lot of people don't want to touch on. Magic Realms, patience is a virtue, man. We must learn to be patient. Santriez, peace. What's going on with you? What's going on with you? Dominique, and that's what it is. Better than some, worse than others. It's exactly how we need to just describe life. It's exactly how we need to do it. And I'm trying to catch up on the comments around here. Yeah, MCJ Rocker, definitely add me on the book, man. I be dropping jewels everywhere that I go. Oh, and Green, mental health isn't looked into enough by the government when it comes to black folks. It's looked into enough when it comes to the white folks. They looking into mental health when it comes to their people. When somebody shoot up a school, it's mental health all the way. It's mental health all the way. When we shoot up each other or something, then we just thugs, savages, gangsters, all that type of negative stuff. So mental health is looked into enough by the government when it comes to their own people. That's when they want to bring up and look into mental health. When it comes to us, it's not looked into. And then obviously we don't look into it enough as well. And I feel like for the most part, us black men, we do a horrible job when it comes to mental health. And a lot of the reasons I understand, but we got to do better with the mental health as black men because, hey, man, we go through a lot as black men and we are taught to suppress a lot and not reveal and show a lot. And that's when it can get dangerous. That's when it can get dangerous. So we got to do better with mental health just from the black male perspective. The black male perspective, it's a lot of pressure on black men. And we are taught as black men that we got to hold in a lot when it comes to the emotions. It's not really that acceptable when a black man becomes emotional when it comes to like his feelings and things of that nature. So we got to hold a lot of that in because it's viewed as weak when we let certain things out. So that's why it can get dangerous. Yeah, Dominique, man. Like I said, some people, we got it in the lessons that I study, man. Some people just a snake. You can't be surprised when you get bit by that snake after you trusted the snake. The true nature of that snake, man, is deception, is evil. You can't trust a snake. So when you let your guards down and say, man, I'm gonna trust this snake, and then that snake turn on you, you can't be mad at that snake for just showing its true nature. You can't get mad at that snake for acting how it's supposed to act. You shouldn't have let your guard down and trusted that snake. That's your fault. It's not the fault of the snake. You can't be like, oh my goodness, that snake bit me. The snake is evil. No, the snake is a snake. You were foolish enough to let your guards down and trust the snake. That's your fault. Your lapse in judgment. Never trust that snake. Never let your guard down around that snake. Don't do that. Some people are the same way. Stop letting your guard down around snakish type people. When these people reveal to you who they truly are, stop letting your guards down around them. And then being surprised when they stab you in the back after they done stabbed you in the back 20 times. They letting you know who they are. They let you know who they truly are. Stop letting your guard down once they reveal them true colors to you. Aim or fix, no problem. Dominique, I'm gonna check that out. Tierra, yeah, it always starts at home. It always starts at home. It starts with self, then it starts at home. Aim or fix. And that's the thing right there. That's the thing. I'm gonna put it on the screen. You say, I realize that we are living in two different worlds. The one in our minds and the outside real world is a constant battle, king. And this is what I talked about. This is what I'm talking about. We got I got a book where it talked about actualization and realization. And that revolved around looking at the world for what it is and realizing that the world is actually this way or that way, instead of us looking at the world for how we want it to be. So that's what we gotta really start doing when it comes to the world outside of self. See, we like to look at things through this lens like the world should be this way. It could be this way. The shoulda, woulda, coulda. Instead of looking at the world for how it actually is. Once you learn to look at the world and accept the world for how it actually is, things become a lot smoother for you, because you're gonna stop trying to control situations that lay outside of your realm of control. You gotta realize how the world actually is and operate accordingly. We like to think for some strange reason that we can actually control the outside world. No, it's people outside of you that you literally cannot control, no matter how hard you try to focus on changing them. You can do affirmations all day long for some of these fools out here. It's not going to shift their reality. It's not going to happen. You can pray for people all day long, but it's not going to necessarily change who the person is. So stop wasting your time on that, man. You can't control that. What you can control is yourself and how you move. You just got to look at the world for how it is, man, and you got to, again, move accordingly. If I know that part of town to the right of me is a bad part of town and you might not want to get caught on that side of town at night, then I would be foolish enough to think I'm invincible and just walk around that on that side of town at night. No, I'm looking at the world for what it is. If I was looking at the world for how I want it to be, I should say, man, it don't matter. It shouldn't matter. I should be able to walk wherever I want to walk and nobody touch me because I'm not causing problems to people. While that may be true, that's not how the world actually is. So you got to look at the world for how it actually is. This is not a safe part of town. I should not be walking these streets after a certain time. So guess what? Not going to do it. That's not you being scary. That's not you being soft. That's you being wise. That's you being wise instead of you saying, man, I should be able to walk wherever I want to walk. That's you being stupid. That's you being very stupid. We got to look at the world and accepting the world for what it is, not what we want it to be, not what we think it should be. Because guess what? That is not how the world is. The world is not how we think it should be, not how we want it to be. It's not. It is some very wicked people out here, and it's going to be some wicked people out here. Some wicked things are going to happen. Some wicked things are going to happen. They're going to continue to happen. Whether we want them to happen or not, it's going to happen. Beautiful Goddess Keys, Torenzo, what's going on? And I'm late on the comments. Jamar, what's going on? Yeah, Magic Realms, and people don't understand too. It's called collective trauma. People don't understand that we pass in the trauma down. So every time that you choose to suppress your trauma, to suppress those negative feelings, that negative energy, guess what you're doing? You impacting the next generation because you choosing not to deal with the trauma. So you passing down that trauma. That trauma is being passed down. That is not how you break a cycle. That's not how you break a generational curse, by suppressing the feelings, by suppressing the emotions. You passing that down. Every time you choose to not resolve a conflict, you now passing that down to the younger generation. You now passing it down to the next generation. That's what you're doing. That is what you're doing. Denise, where you say there is some pressure that he's facing, I believe it has something to do with social media. Social media causes a lot of problems. Social media causes a lot of problems. Like I said, social media itself is neutral. Social media is not negative or positive, but it can cause problems, man, when we don't have the discipline to deal with it in a certain light. Because a lot of times when you get on social media, man, you start looking at what other people is doing, what other people are doing, what everybody is doing, and you start judging your life in comparison to what people are doing out here. And that creates a lot of pressure. So peer pressure is taking a different form. Social media now is another form of peer pressure. When you see what your peers out here doing on social media, now you feel the pressure. You feel the pressure. You say, man, they doing this. I ain't doing that. They talking about this. I haven't experienced that. So it creates another level of peer pressure. And it's way worse on social media because you can access a lot more people via social media. Back in the day, the peer pressure was only around the people that you was dealing with in the physical. Now the peer pressure is everybody. Everybody. You got access to everybody. Not only do you have access to the people that's in your actual inner circle, you have access to people you have never met before. So you got access to kids you ain't never seen before. Hey, Denise, like I said, if you need me to reach out, I'm all here for it. Because I know how I go. I know how I go. Just need that positive reinforcement, that positive role model. Oh, Dominique, yeah, man. Never be ashamed to say you got the counseling. Never be ashamed to say that. And you overcame a lot. You overcame a lot. And Green, yeah, most definitely. Again, it's proximity. So 9 times out of 10, man, when somebody do you dirty, it's gonna be the people that's closest to you. Proximity. They got the access to you most of the time. So again, it never surprises me when it's the people that's closest to you that end up stabbing you in the back because they got the access to you. We not out here dealing with strangers any and every day. Repeatedly, like the same strangers, we not dealing with them repeatedly every day. We not giving them the access that we give the blood, the relatives, and all of that, the friends. We giving the friends and the family a little bit more access. So again, it never surprises me when they do us the dirtiest because they have more access. The person that you're not giving access to, they don't really have the ability to do you that dirty because you haven't given them all the access. So of course, it's gonna sting a little bit more when that person that you gave all the access to stabs you in that back. And Green, sometimes that's how you got to be detached. Dominique, yeah, I got it, man. I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, Dominique, and I can imagine. I can imagine. I can imagine having that unbiased opinion in regards to some things that you have went through in life, some of your thoughts. I could imagine. I can definitely imagine. Yeah, MCJ Rocker, man, it's a lot. It's a lot of just nonsense on social media. A lot of people just faking, just frauds, man. So it's a lot of that on social media. A lot of it. A lot of fraudulent individuals, man. So again, and a lot of people get caught up in that. A lot of people see their peers doing some things, but they don't understand that their peers are out here faking it. They feel some type of way when they see Leroy over here doing something that they not doing. Leroy is lying to you. Deception. But you don't know that though. You believe in what you see instead of believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. You believe in all of what you see. Denise, no doubt. No doubt. I'm looking forward to that. I don't compare my life to anyone. I'm not concerned what anybody else is doing. Listen, I don't care. I don't care. If I see you shining, doing great things, I'm happy for you, especially if I knew you, especially if I grew up with you. I'm happy for you. I'm not finna look at it and say, oh man, they doing this. I should be up there. I should be doing that. Nope. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for the way you progressing through life. I applaud it. I applaud the success. I applaud everything that you're doing. I'm happy for you. You right where you need to be. Dominique, I'm recommending books every day, left and right. Beautiful God is keys, and that's how I be most of the time. That's how I be. That's really how I be, which is sad, which again, from that point, it makes you just reevaluate relationships. It makes you reevaluate friendships when it comes to that particular point. Now it's time to just reevaluate. It's really, really time to reevaluate at that particular point. When you can't communicate with the people who say they care, they love you. At that point, you got to reevaluate those emotions, those feelings, that relationship, that bond, whatever it is. Got to reevaluate it. It's that time. It's that time indeed. Where's the scope, God? What's going on with you? But yeah, I don't compare anybody else's, man. I don't compare my life to anybody. I legit don't. I legit don't. Social media ain't gonna get me caught up in that matrix. I'm not comparing my life to anybody. I'm not comparing my progress to anybody else's progress. I'm not doing it. We all operating on our own time. We all running our own race. At the end of the day, I found my pace and I'm running at that pace. I'm not trying to run anybody else's race. That's how you wear yourself out. That's how you wear yourself out rather too quickly. So I ain't got time for do that, man. I ain't got time for doing that. So I'm understanding my pace and I'm operating at that pace. I'm moving at my pace. This is my pace. I'm happy with that pace. I'm satisfied. I'm good. I'm right where I need to be. I'm running the exact race that I need to be running. I'm good. And that's how you need to look at things, man. You right where you need to be. You right where you should be at. You right where you need to be in life. You right where you need to be. Right where you need to be. Stop getting pressured by everybody around you. Stop allowing them to pressure you to make certain moves. It ain't that time. It ain't your time to make that move. It ain't that time. Maybe you don't even need to make that move. Maybe you don't even need to make that move. While you feel like everybody pressuring you to do something, maybe this ain't the move that you need to be making. So stop allowing people to pressure you into making moves. Stop allowing people to pressure you into certain decisions. Stop doing that. Stop doing that, man. It's a reason why you haven't made the move yet. It's a reason why you haven't made a certain decision yet. Give yourself time, slow it down, patience. Quez, let's get it. You ain't operating on their dime. You're not operating on their time. You operating on your time. You operating on your dime, point blank, period. That's what you operating on. But we don't care anything about the peer pressure, the social media pressure, all of that. We don't care anything about that, man. We're not operating from that realm. You figuring out your pace and you running your race. You running your race, man. If other people passing you up, cool, so be it. You still gonna finish though. You still gonna finish. That's all that matters. Now, if you try to run somebody else's race, then you end up and you collapse. Now you ain't even finishing the race. My man Nip called it a marathon for a reason. My man's called it a marathon for a reason, man. If you ever ran something that's long distance, man, you understand what it means to run a marathon. You're not finna run a marathon all out. You're not finna do an all-out sprint for a marathon. No, you got to find your pace. You got to find your pace for that marathon. You're not finna sprint that whole entire marathon. MCJ Rocker, man, and I agree with that 1,000%. YouTube is good because I mean you could easily just find some motivational. Like I listen to a lot of motivational people on YouTube, so I'd be good on YouTube for the most part. Antoinette, peace. What's going on? What's going on, Queen? Oh, Denise, like I said, no doubt. 9 times out of 10, those are gonna be the ones that hate on you the most and hate on you the worst. It's gonna be the family. It's gonna be the fam. But it is what it is. Me, like I'm not attached to labels and statuses like that. So family really don't mean much to me. I analyze people through their ways and actions. So just because you my cousin or just because you my brother, sister, whatever it is, don't mean I'm necessarily going to trust you when it comes to that type of stuff. That's just a label, man. I didn't ask for you to be my family. I didn't choose you to be my family. I was born into it. So that don't mean anything to me. As harsh as that may sound, like you got to prove to me. You got to earn that trust. You got to earn that respect. So I don't care what the label is that you have with me. I don't care. I don't care if you the cousin, the aunt, the uncle. I don't care. That don't mean anything. The aunt, the uncle, the cousin, they all can do you dirty just like the stranger. But we had this expectation that, oh man, you my cousin, you ain't supposed to do me like that. That's problem number one. You shouldn't have that expectation for a family member just because they have a label. I don't mean nothing. That mean absolutely nothing. Oh, I can't believe my aunt would do me. Why couldn't you believe that? Your aunt is human just like the stranger. She's human just like the stranger. Your aunt, just because she your aunt, don't necessarily mean she's just gonna automatically be positive towards you 100% of the time. Nope. Nope. Yeah, Dominique, it be real in the field on like on Facebook, Instagram, a lot of that, man. You be seeing a lot of trash, man. So for the most part, I just be posting my little posts and keep it moving. Tierra, I appreciate that. That's all I'm striving to be. Motivation, inspiration, information, all of that good stuff. Oh, Denise, no doubt. And that's normal too to feel hurt by it. That's normal, especially when you have invested a lot in that particular relationship with that said family member. So being hurt is normal, natural. It's normal. As they say on the East, let those feelings come and go. So you're gonna be hurt for a while, but guess what? When you allow that hurt to just come and go, that's exactly what it's gonna do. That's exactly what it's gonna do. Magic rims, exactly, man. So I don't have any expectations when it comes to family members because of a label. I just don't. I just don't. So when somebody do me dirty, I'm never surprised. I'm never looking at it like, oh, I couldn't believe such and such would do that to me. Nope, I believe it. Everybody is capable of doing it. That's how you just got to look at it. There are no exceptions to the rule. Everybody is capable of doing you dirty. Everybody is capable of doing something bad to you. Everybody is capable of it. Don't mean everybody will do it. I'm just saying they're capable. Rule boy, what's going on with you? So everybody is capable of doing you dirty. And you just got to look at everything according to that reality. Like I said, it may not be the best reality to have, but hey, it's a reality nonetheless. Hey, Dominique, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that most definitely, 100%, man. Like I say, I'm just getting warmed up on this platform, man. It's just getting warmed up. We got a long way to go in regards to this particular channel, content on the channel, everything, man. We just got a long way to go. So I'm just getting started, just getting warmed up. And like I said, it's all love. I always appreciate the support, the comments, all of that good stuff, man. I always appreciate the interaction, the exchanges, the comments, love all that. But with that being said, y'all, man, I got to make some moves, man. This is a positive stream, though, man. I really just wanted to chop it up for a little minute with y'all before I made my moves that I got to make. So again, this was a positive and powerful stream, and I appreciate all y'all tapping in, tuning in with me. I'm gonna probably be back on Tuesday. Y'all gonna get a little short video from me tomorrow. So I'm gonna probably be back live on Tuesday. So be on the lookout for a little short motivational, informative video from me tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, I'm back on the stream to chop it up with you all, man. But again, I got to get on up out of here, go about this day. So y'all enjoy the rest of this Sunday, man. Y'all stay peaceful. Y'all stay healthy, positive, powerful, productive, all of that good stuff. I'm out, y'all. Peace.